Bunfight at the OK Bakery by Nanny Linda. Brownie Humphrey owned a bakery in Sugar Plum Road in Sweetmouth Town, and he had inherited the business from his mother, Cherry Humphrey Brown. His wife Madeira helped him with baking the cakes, sponges, buns and tarts, and daughters Saffron and Victoria also enjoyed all aspects of baking and helped to play their part. Son Parkin liked making the sausage rolls and had just learned to make pizza pies and quiche. He was really enjoying the savoury bakes and was beginning to find his niche. The aromatic air around the OK Bakery was always mouth-wateringly good, which encouraged people as they were passing by to pop in and purchase the appetising food. The window display was a work of art, one side savoury and one side sweet, and outside on the pavement, pasty eaters sat on a wooden seat. Two people sat tucking into steak pasties, steam filtering from each paper bag, and their dog sat drooling and whining, sniffing around for any crumbs to be had. Brownie was a generous man, and when a new baking recipe had been made, there were always little freebies in the cabinet tantalisingly displayed. Once a week, he would pay a visit to the local retirement home to deliver a basket full of delicious bakes and a special Battenberg for his Auntie Joan. Madeira would always take any leftover bakes down to the local food bank, then walk over to the park's duck pond with some breadcrumbs where she always received some quacking thanks. Other birds followed her out of the park where she spread some crumbs on the path. Then she would stop at the hut of the groundsman to give him a pie, have a chat and a laugh. Saffron would sometimes take cookies to her friends down at the local gym, only perhaps once a month or so, as they were all working so hard to stay slim. Victoria belonged to a cycling club and took snacks to share with her buddies Louisa and Briar, so depending on the amount of calories consumed would determine the amount of cycling required. Parkin loved his sausage rolls and always made a few dozen to spare, and would share them with his bird-watching friends, and he took them everywhere. The baker's annual regional competition was drawing near, and every Humphrey was planning to take part, each creating a cake so large and delicious it would be a work of art. The competition was this coming Sunday and had been advertised in the area for many weeks, and each Humphrey had been working on different ideas with planning and additional tweaks. They would all work on Saturday as normal, then each prepare their cakes through the evening and into the night, ready for the competition on the Sunday at 10 a.m. The timing should be just about right. Each made their cakes so brilliantly decorated with buns, cakes, scones and brandy snaps, eclairs, shortbread and flapjacks, sponges, donuts, tarts and sweet baps. Sunday morning, Brownie phoned the town hall to inquire as to the door opening time, only to hear a message on the answer phone that the competition was last Sunday at 9. And the winner was Mrs. Hyacinth Brocklebank, the local estate agent's wife. Brownie was so angry and frustrated that he stabbed at his cake with a knife. His yells brought all the Humphreys running, piling into the kitchen all at once. "We missed the competition," yelled Brownie. "It was last week. I am such a nincompoop dunce." He hacked at his cake over and over, shouting, "I've got the wrong day! I've got the wrong day!" The other Humphreys just stood watching him, mouths open, never before seeing Brownie this way. He huffed and he puffed, sweating and shouting, "All of this wasted effort, all of this wasted food," then slid to the floor, thoroughly exhausted, still watched by his wife and his brood. He was plastered in cream, crumbs and icing, jam splashed across his broad chin. Madeira, his wife, put her hand to her mouth, trying to hide a huge grin. Parkin started to giggle, tears leaking from his sparkling blue eyes. Then Saffron and Victoria nudged each other. Then their laughter erupted from inside. Brownie looked at his family laughing, then rose up onto his feet. Grabbing a handful of sticky cake mess, he threw it at Parkin's cheek. Parkin laughed and started throwing donuts, first one, then two, then three, which caught his father slapping each one in his face. What a crazy family. Madeira screamed and ran for the door, but tripped over as she slipped on the stair, as jam tarts thrown by Saffron hit her head and stuck in her hair. Victoria received a faceful of sponge, which was laden with delicious fresh cream, so she grabbed a handful of sticky eclairs and chased Saffron, who started to scream. All of the Humphreys were now cakes splattered with eclairs, donuts and tarts flying around, and covered the worktops, walls and the floor, so not a clean spot was to be found. The laughter was contagious. Bellies ached with laughing so much. Throats were sore from all the screaming, and everything was sticky to the touch. Eventually all became quiet as exhaustion finally set in. All the Humphreys looking around the room, ears ringing after all the mayhem and din. "Well, that was a first," said Brownie. "I think I must have been suffering from stress." "I think so," said Madeira quietly. "Now I think we had better start cleaning this mess." So from that day forward, Brownie decided to never even consider entering any competition ever again. It was only an ego-boosting event anyway, extra work and expense and head pain. He would put his baking skills to much better use and discuss different ideas with his family, and eventually decided that once every month he would bake a cake for a charity lottery. And then he decided to have another special day in his garden, which was spacious enough for a large event, and he would supply everything that was needed and sell tickets that would be of no great expense. So a yearly social occasion was added to the Humphreys' calendar, this time with all things sweet and savoury, and it became a very popular and fun afternoon, and it was called Bunfight at the OK Bakery.